Well, good morning, fellow zombies. How are we doing this morning? Sorry about that. It's the next day, isn't it? It's January 5th, 2023. It's 9:54 in the morning. The diary of the Green named John Weaver, and it'll be my log report for today. How you guys doing? Rainy out here. We got the storm system kicking our ass. Meanwhile, on the national front right now, Speaker vote 7th try underway right now. McCarthy's already lost 6 times already. Hopefully he'll be suffering a 7th time. Maybe the representative of Kern County and Antelope Valley of California can understand we don't want his ass there. But unfortunately, Rosemond and the rest of Kern decided, no, we want our Kevin, please. No matter how many times he kept screwing us over one way or another. With him going for the power grab like this is not helping us constituents who voted his ass out there to Congress. But apparently Kern thinks he's going to change Congress. With him giving away power left and right on the things that he's going to do just to get their votes. This is the change they want in Washington. This is what they bellyached all along throughout the years since I've been here, since 2013. Moving over here, with my, now departed brother. As you know, every time I keep doing these logs, or most of the time, I'm always constantly showing them. Their ashes are still in the case. My bona fide. But just to let you know what's going on right now, this is what's happening in Congress for today. Am I liking this? No. But the way things are going right now, he's not going to get the votes necessary to get where he wants. And if he does, he's done a lot of horse trading than he should have. Threw away the power of the House of Congress to the lunatic asylum. And now the lunatics are going to be trying to run Congress. Well, the only thing they can do is go crazy in the House of Representatives, but they got the Senate right now democratically controlled by the Democrats. And they're going to keep them in line. Because House can't pass anything unless the Senate passes anything. This is not the dysfunction of Congress. This is the function of Congress. And if these idiots actually remembered when they got into office, were they there for the power, they were for the ego, they were for the control, or were they actually there for the constituents? And then did they actually understood political science 101? Did they actually take in any political classes and legal classes to understand the separation of powers is at work and what the framers had in mind? Not one branch has power over the others. That's why it's equidistant. That's why it's split into 3. Judicial would go over the laws passed by Congress and see whether or not it's against the spirit and the letter of the Constitution, not to mention if the executive branch is issuing orders that are against both. But they hear a lot of court cases that go with or are against the Constitution. According to their interpretations, their own personal interpretations. That's what it is. In the House of Congress, we have it split into 2 different chambers. We have the House of Commons, which is in chaos right now, and the Senate, which is holding their breath and wondering what's going on. They can at least try to get along in the Senate. The House is a chaotic matter. It was said in the Federalist Papers, I believe in the number 10, somewhere in there, that the Senate is the saucer that cools the cup, and that, I'm paraphrasing here, and that would be the chaotic nature of the hot drink in the cup. I'm paraphrasing. Mixing it up a little bit, but I'm getting the point across. You have a hot cup of coffee, but you still need a plate to cool it on, so you don't get yourself burned, but you can still enjoy the hot drink, but you don't get burned. Or it doesn't burn anything else. The function of a sauce cup and saucer. This is the function, this is the nature of Congress itself. The executive branch will sign off on the laws, will make military decisions, but they still have to clear it through Congress. We have to have a Congress working at this point, which is the reason why we're having people trying to somehow get some sanity and logic in the House of Representatives right now. And the count is still continuing right now. And I don't know if they're going to be making it this time, or McCarthy is going to be powerless speaker because he gave away all the power and the authority to everybody. It was reported that 100 years ago, Congress had to go through this. And they went through ballots after ballots until they finally got a speaker. The Republicans control by a narrow margin of how the House is. And even with that narrow margin, they're still having issues regarding who's going to be controlling it or not. They still have a political fight. This is not what the framers had in mind, but if it has to be this way, it's got to be this way. We allowed the nut jobs to get in. The voters wanted them in. We got them. Now we have to deal with them. 2 years, but they will not pass laws. Unless, of course, it's hands holding across their hands, across the aisles, actually, where they're going to be getting some cooperation from both sides. But if the nut jobs are going to be in charge of the House of Representatives, it'll be another time. The 2016 election, when we actually had the entire House of Representatives in charge by representatives, no laws were passed. Only deletion of certain actions and laws were allowed. And then the battle for it, for the soul of the House of Representatives, began again when the midterms came in. And then the Democrats got control, but the Republicans were still in control of the Senate. Again, no useful laws. Well, for 2 years we actually had Senate and we had reps. We had the control for a short time. Now we got to deal with the dysfunction of the Congress, because this is how it was written. It was probably argued this way among the fathers of our country, the ones who actually created the Constitution and the idea of freedom and liberty for everybody, not to mention drafting up the Declaration of Independence. But they had to figure out, and they had to be accurate on this one. Regarding the Constitution, we needed to have something. Even if it's chaotic and crazy, it cannot be a monarch rule. It cannot be a parliament. It can only be our form of government. Dysfunctional, screwed up representative democracy. But it still works. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, but this is how it is. We'll see what happens if McCarthy gets in or not.